Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to week 2 of English 100. Before I dive into the modules this week, I just wanted to show you a couple of things on our webpage in our class site that I want you just to kind of keep in mind and remember. When you go into our class from courses, again, this is the landing page that you'll see. And you see all of these items on the to-do list here. You can click X once you have finished them, right? The to-do list, unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily disappear once things have been graded. So you can kind of close things out as you finish them. The other thing I wanted to show you are the grades. So everything right now from last week is up to date, and you will have scores in the gradebook for that. You can see here for my test student, I have a little blue 1 next to grades that indicates that I've got a grade in there. So if I click on grades, my test student is obviously not a very good student, but what I want to show you is for the writing territory, see how there's a little comment box here? Whenever you see that, that's an indication that I have left you a message. So you can click on it here to see it. You can also open up the assignment and you can see the comment there. I will say that for everyone's hypothesis annotations and for everyone's writing territory, I left comments. I won't do that every time, but I wanted you to just to kind of see what the comments look like. And in some cases, I asked you questions. Like there were some folks who did not follow the requirements for the writing territories, and I told you kind of what the steps were to resubmit. Some folks, I'm still not able to see the annotations on your hypothesis, and so excuse me, if you want credit for that, you need to resubmit it. So again, you can check your scores, and then if you see a little comment box there, be sure to check the comment. All right, but let's go ahead and go back to our home page. Just as a reminder, you can access this week's module by clicking this week's module. I added last week's module link, so if you need to go back and review something from week 1, it's very easy to do that. Let's go ahead and click on this week's module. And this week begins our actual first unit of English 100, which is the personal narrative. This unit moves super quick. We're not going to spend a lot of time here. We're really not necessarily going to be learning anything new here quite yet. It's kind of more of a review just to get us going. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time in these next couple of weeks, primarily because we're going to be spending the bulk of the time on the next piece of this larger unit. So the whole idea behind the first essay is to tackle this big question. What gets in the way of your learning, right? What gets in the way of you being successful? And your essay assignment is in this very first module. This unit is only 2 weeks. Like I said, it's very, very quick. The other units are not that fast, but this one is very quick, and I'll explain why in just a minute here. Okay. Oops, I need to move that. Okay, so our overview and objectives for the week. Essay structure. This week you're going to be working on your shitty first draft and even reading about what that is if you have no familiarity with Annie Lamott's writing. The conferences begin this week. They're optional this week or next week, but it is an assignment to conference with me about Essay 1, so you could just get to pick when that is. We have a couple of discussions. And then here is your actual essay assignment. And this is why it's so important to work through the modules and not just work off of the to-do list. I can't emphasize that enough. If you're only using the to-do list, you are going to be missing everything else, because the only thing that's going to appear in the to-do list are things that have a due date. This reading your essay assignment does not have a due date, so it's not going to appear in the to-do list. The essay structure overview, no to-do date, no due date, so it will not appear in the to-do list, right? So it's super important for you to work through the modules. Like most classes are set up that way. Okay, So this assignment sheet breaks down your first essay. Now just take a deep breath. Don't panic. This is a short essay. It's not meant to be long. You are your own topic, right? So you can use I, and you're going to be referring to your experiences. And I've given you some suggestions here for the essay structure. It's about 750 words, 2 to 3 pages, give or take. And you're essentially exploring this idea of what is it that gets in the way of your learning, of you being successful in school, of you doing well academically, and what do you need to be successful, right? So that's the essay that you're going to be writing. What gets in the way, and what do you think you need to be successful? Now, let me be really clear what's going to happen with this essay. You're going to turn this essay in at the end of week 3. And what I'm going to do then is I am going to compile everybody's essays, right? And so we'll have a collection of 30 different essays from this section of English 100. And that collection of 30 essays, we are all going to read those essays in order to write essay number 2. So essay number 1 kind of forms the textbook that we're all going to read for essay number 2. So the essay that you are writing is going to be read by people in this class. And that's something that you really want to kind of keep in mind of kind of what you want to say, what you want to talk about, and what you feel comfortable with other people reading, right? Essay number 2 is going to be an analysis where we use essay number 1 as evidence. Okay, so just be aware of that as you're writing essay number 1. It will be read by people in this class. I know that might sound confusing, and once you see essay number 2, it'll make sense a little bit. So due by the end of this week is your shitty first draft, and there's a page in here that explains what that is. And again, there's not a lot of time on this essay because it's your experience. You don't need to go outside of your own experiences to write this. Okay. For this next page, this is an embedded textbook page, which is why I kind of put this bright yellow box here just to kind of alert you to that difference here, right? I want to just kind of remind you, maybe give you a little bit of review of the difference between high school writing and college writing. Now, you might say, oh, Miller, I know this already. I don't need this. If you have only ever written thesis statements that have that 3-part thesis, right? It might say something like, you know, the best animals on a farm are cows, pigs, and goats. Paragraph 1 is about cows. Paragraph 2 is about pigs. Paragraph 3 is about goats, right? That's called the 3-part thesis. And that is something that you learn typically in high school. And high school English writing is dominated by that 3-part thesis. And I know that because I used to teach high school English. In college, we move beyond that 3-part thesis. And so if hearing that is absolute news to you, then for sure you need to read through this overview page. So again, in the yellow box, whenever you see a page with a yellow box, it means that I have brought in an online textbook into our class, but I only want you to read a couple of pages of it. So here you're going to read 4 pages within Lumen. So here's our first page, and then you click next, right? And then here's the second page. And see how I'm staying in that Lumen page, and I'm going to click next. And then the third page it's shorter, and I'll click next. And remember, you're only reading 4 pages, right? So here's the 4th page, and it's just some practice. And then you're going to scroll all the way down until you get to our class next. So it's 4 pages of the textbook, and then you click on the next. And again, that will just kind of start that conversation of what is the difference between high school writing and college writing. Then we're going to shift into shitty first drafts. Say it out loud. Make yourself laugh. Shitty first drafts. Because you need to write them, right? We all need to write shitty first drafts. What I want you to do is to read this article from Annie Lamott. It's short. It's from her book Bird by Bird. And this concept of shitty first drafts is something that we will be returning to throughout the semester. Then next in the module is the conference. So again, you can schedule your conference with me this week or next week. It's 5 points. So choose when you want to do it. I've given you directions here on how to do it. So you're going to access the calendar right here. Okay, now I can't do it because test student doesn't have an account, but when you follow these directions and you click the find appointment, then you'll be able to see what appointments I have available this week and next week and just choose one that works for you. So just follow the steps here. If none of those times work, please reach out to me via text, in Pronto, or via email, and we'll schedule something else. All right. So with that in mind, then, your shitty first draft, rough draft, some kind of something in writing is due this Friday. You can I'm not going to read it to give you feedback on it. The goal is for me to see that you are starting to work on it. All I'm asking for is a picture of your draft. So if you're typing it on Google Docs, you can just take a screenshot and upload that. If you are typing it on your phone, which I don't really recommend, but if you are doing that, take a screenshot, upload that. Yeah, so that's kind of what you're doing for this assignment due by Friday. And it's complete or not complete, right? There are no other requirements other than that. But then we're going to kind of get into the meat of the topic, which is the group Jamboard. And so what you're going to do is, oh, I've got to fix, yeah, oh, I need to fix this date. Sorry about that. You're going to click on this Jamboard right here, and then you'll see that there's all different ways that we can kind of play inside of the Jamboard, and you'll see that some folks have already posted in there. It's just a way to kind of collectively pool our ideas and for everyone to be able to see just quickly, like, what is it that gets in the way of us being successful in school? But you're going to use this Jamboard as your information for your first discussion of what is it that gets in the way. Your discussion board post is due on Tuesday with a reply due by Thursday. So again, that'll be the tempo of the class. Discussion board Tuesday, reply is due Thursday. You'll have another discussion board that is due on due Thursday with a reply due on Friday. So I kind of tried to space those out a little bit for you. But the whole idea of the discussion board is for you to engage in the material and to engage with your classmates, because all of that is going to help you start the essay. So these discussions are not isolated. They're all building towards the essay, okay? And that's important to know kind of for all of the discussions and the work that we do in here. It's not, I don't assign busy work. It's more of, this is going to help you get ready for the essay. You'll see that I always have a reminder for the reply. Sometimes the discussion board replies get forgotten, so I put a reminder page in there. The second reading this week is one of my favorites. It's called Writing is Not a McDonald's Hamburger. And this reading is designed, again, to kind of get you thinking just about writing in general. Part of my job in this class is to help you get more comfortable with writing, and so more confident. And so this is kind of aimed at that goal. So you're going to read this article. Again, it's short, it's maybe a page and a half. And then you will complete the discussion. And for all of the discussion boards, I tell you exactly what the steps are that you need to take and what the requirements are for the replies. And then, again, there's a reminder. And then we'll move into the writing territories.